You have to start putting back into your own people. And for people who are asking what is going on, I believe I told you guys that today I'm podcasting on the go. So you're going to hear my doors and everything. I told you I'd never edit my podcast. It's one of the things that that I prefer about the way my show runs. Now, once I'm on my radio show, it'll be completely different. It's a live show, but it'll be a live show in a studio environment. But my podcast, I prefer being more of a at-home conversation with me. So you may hear other things, but you'll still get the point. So back to what I was saying here. We've got to stop destroying our own things. Because while we're out here protesting for justice and we're out here protesting for peace, don't think you haven't just given people who don't care about our justice and don't care about our peace the opportunity to make sure that we never get it. Because by doing what we're doing and destroying our own stores and our own areas, our own neighborhoods, the only thing that we officially do is give them the ability to keep us out of the loop. And like I said, I've seen this happen before, where when all was said and done, you had elderly people, and this was in Cleveland. You had elderly people who couldn't get to the store because the store in their own neighborhoods had been burned down. And now somebody's got to try to get out and grocery shop for these people. Somebody has to try to get out and, just clothing, just anything that they need. They have to try to get somebody who can go further out to get these things done, because the stores that they were used to depending on that were closer to home or in their own areas had officially been burned to the ground. Or a video is now circulating of a black man who was in tears. He was like, "You're fighting for our freedom, but you burned down my store and stole my computers." And he was like, "Everything that I worked hard for in trying to help my community, everything that I built up here, you took from me. They don't feel the loss. I do." And that is a very true statement. When you decide to go on the attack and you attack your own neighborhood and you attack your own people, we feel the loss. They don't. So burning things down is not going to get you the attention that you think it's going to get. They're paying attention, but they're not paying attention in a way that you think they're paying attention. Setting those neighborhoods ablaze is just giving them a reason to not build up those areas again, and they're hoping that you can't rebuild, because it makes their job easier. You don't want to make the job of a racist easier. There is a way to do this without destroying your own folks. And right now, that's exactly what we're doing. We're destroying our own. And that most certainly defeats the purpose. We're supposed to be out here trying to help our own. We're supposed to be out here trying to build up our own. And that's not what's happening. That's not what we're doing. So most certainly, make your voice heard. Make your grievances known. Do what you can, whatever it is, no matter how big or how small, in order to try to make this better. I don't care if you start growing your own vegetables and decide, you know what, I'm going to start taking care of my family this way. And I apologize for that. It's windy where I am right now. Start making your own, Bath and Body items. Start buying from companies that believe in going green, and that believe in actually putting money in your pockets and financial freedom, and start buying from companies that really do support your community. I've never seen this many people go out of their way to try to own things like brand names like Gucci and such, and knowing full well that these are companies that don't necessarily rock with us. I won't even say necessarily. They don't care about y'all. We'll put out racist clothing and racist items, and we'll think it's funny. And what do? We keep shopping there because we want people to know we have money. So let me go buy this Gucci belt. And I've gotten to the place now where a lot of people whom I follow, especially influencers and celebrities and such, when I see them still to this day purchasing items from companies that have made it blatantly obvious that they don't rock with us, I've stopped following. Because how you going to influence me on anything when you're still rocking the items of the people who are trying to keep you oppressed? You have nothing to teach me and so much to learn. We got to do better. I'm how much I talk. I'm never at a loss for words. But I tell you right now, I don't even know what to say to most of these people, because it's hurtful. It's hurtful. And it's hurtful to see that racism is flourishing. It's hurtful to see that my people still don't get it. It's hurtful. To know that during my mother's time, she was attacked because, as I've told you guys before, when people see my mom, they're not quite sure of what she is. There are people who see my mom and it's like, oh, she's white. There are people who see my mom and it's like, yeah, she's something. She's not black, but we don't know what she is. There are people who see my mom and it's like, okay, I guess she could be black. Like, we don't really know. And my mother is like the queen of ambiguity. Just no one knows at all. Like, when you talk about somebody being ambiguous, I'm telling you, if I ever put up a picture of my mother, the confusion. And I've known people my entire life who have been curious as to what she was, but they were too scared to ask me because they thought they were going to offend me. And she dealt with that coming up. People not understanding what she was, not quite sure. So she got caught in the middle of a race war where she was being attacked by black people because they thought she was just some white chick trying to mimic being black. And then she got attacked by some white folks because they thought she was some sort of white Asian hybrid, and they wouldn't rocking with her for that reason. And it seemed like this woman couldn't catch a break nowhere. And she was just trying to exist. She was young. She was still in school. She was in high school, I want to say, or grammar school. She was in middle school. She was just trying to go to school. She was just trying to get her education. And couldn't even manage to do that. This is in the 60s. Late 50s, early 60s. We're still there. So for people who say that racism is so far behind us, you're wrong. For people who say this is a black versus white war, you're wrong. For the people who believe, well, the only way we can get their attention is we're going to have to start taking matters into our own hands and setting things on fire, you're absolutely incorrect. Because they set things on fire in the 50s. They set things on fire in the 60s. They set things on fire in the 70s. Hell, they set some shit on fire in the 80s and 90s. It's still no better. And trust me when I tell you, ask the people who live in those neighborhoods how much better things got. Because they acted like those neighborhoods no longer existed, kept it pushing. And they built up in other areas and had no concern. And there was no one trying to put money back into the small businesses that got shut down because we decided to start rioting and looting in the streets and burning stuff down. Which brings me to the next thing that I need people to understand. You do realize that although there are some of us out in the streets burning down and looting, the majority of them are not black. There's several videos of people of all types of races and backgrounds out kicking in windows and burning stuff up and walking off with clothes and food and electronics. But for some reason, us black folks keep catching the blame for all the looting. It's not the case. That's not just us out there doing it. As a matter of fact, the majority of it isn't even us. I just watched a video right before I decided to get on air. And it was of a peaceful protest, and two very young Caucasian girls decided to spray paint the front of a restaurant. And the black protesters asked them to please not do that. And they decided to start yelling at the black protesters, which made me wonder, were they actually out there to help? Or were they out there to try to get these people in trouble? Because understand something, folks. If you are out here and you're on the front line with us, and you're protesting and marching with us, you need to understand that your actions won't be yours. Just like you know that you have privilege in this company, understand that your privilege even extends into protesting. So anything you burn down, a black person will be blamed for. Anything you loot, a black person will be blamed for. Anytime you decide to spray paint a building, spray paint a cop car, hell, spray paint a cop, a black person will be blamed for it. If you don't see us doing it, don't do it. If you don't see me jumping up and down on top of a car and breaking windows, so clearly I have gone to the point where I don't care, don't jump up and down on top of a car and start breaking windows for me. I did not ask. And that was the argument they had. They were trying to explain